AgNow weather time, it's Matt Makens here. Hope you're doing well. Over the next couple of weeks, kind of the biggest threat we have over, say, the next 10 days or so is going to be very strong winds for the high plains and parts of the Rocky Mountains, and that's a long-lasting threat from the 25th through the 1st of May. Why is that a threat? This same region has really got a lot of dry grasses and forages. We need water here. Fire danger will be exceptionally high in that same area, coinciding with that very strong wind. Outside of that, we're looking for heavy rainfall in central and eastern Texas into parts of Arkansas and Louisiana through May 1st. So sustained impacts there with heavy rainfall. Let's check some soil temperatures. I'm going to do this frequently as we go through the next couple of weeks. We're seeing some of the shallowest layers really warming up quickly now. A lot of the corn country, a lot of that crop area, temperatures of the soils have really warmed up. We're seeing some impacts to plant due to maybe passing rain or passing snow showers, but overall we are well in our way to planting, and the soils are getting ready. With warm soils, we need some water now that they can soak that water in, right? Well, here's a look at the soil moisture in the root zones. We have dry conditions throughout a lot of the Four Corners region, from southeastern Colorado through New Mexico and West Texas in particular. Panhandle of Texas also has a dry bullseye. Very dry around Iowa, and parts of the Ohio Valley also very dry in those root zones. Favorable areas, especially for hay production, alfalfa, some of the grass country of Nebraska on into the high plains of Montana, however, that's a lot of soil moisture that's pretty good shape as of now. With warm soils and the need for this moisture, that soil can suck in that water. Let's see what happens, especially around Iowa over the coming week. We have some water that's just passing through that region today, kind of a lull in the action for a few days. Late this week into the weekend, although the Rockies will have some moisture. And there comes one bout of some heavy rainfall down to the south, but we're still looking in the corn country and relatively quiet until we hit early next week. Risks of severe weather will be possible next week with a passing system. There'll be a few passing systems to speak of. Now we're into the midweek and late week, and watch around here around Texas. That's going to be a developing system. Starts to crank up, produce heavy thunderstorms, then it lifts north into the corn country, then out to the east. So yeah, we do have some passing systems, but kind of the next biggest impactor, if you will, is going to be the last few days of April going into early May. In terms of total precip, as we go through just about the end of the month, we'll go through the 28th here, have a couple of bullseyes here. One is down to the south, the other is kind of in the mid-Mississippi, but you can see that water wraps up into the high plains, getting into the northern Rockies too. Colorado will have some snowfall, as well as Nebraska, out of some of that precipitation. But if we zoom that map into kind of bullseye number one, there's Oklahoma City. We have Little Rock, and in between, we're going to be tallying up 2 to 2.5 to 3 inch totals in a number of areas. Again, that's going to come with thunderstorms, and of course we're kind of into severe weather season, so got to watch out for that. Then farther up to the north, here's Jefferson City, St. Joe, Kirksville, Quincy, and around St. Louis. We have some of these bullseyes here also of 2.5 to 3 inch totals of rain, and they try to spread into that corn country of Iowa. Certainly do so into Illinois, and some decent rainfall ahead for parts of Indiana. In terms of snow, we're kind of running out of cold temperatures here as we go through mid-spring now. So not a lot of snow in the States. There's going to be some in the Rockies, so parts of Colorado, maybe around Cheyenne, a snowstorm to wrap up this week and get into the weekend. But most of the snow is going to stay up to the north here, up and throughout Canada, up into that colder air. Let's just wrap up this AgNow weather report with a look at the weekly precept for the next 4 weeks. We kind of talked about through the 25th. And that's going to favor parts of Texas, the southeast. You get into the last few days of April into early May. There's going to be a wet bullseye there in some of the same areas we talked about. Still looking wet for the plains as we get into the first week of May. Into the second week of May, some hit and miss areas of moisture there. In terms of temperatures, the coldest period is right now, this week. We'll lift that out of here. We'll start to see some warming temperatures across the south for the end of April into early May. Still a little unsettled for the first 2 weeks of May. Not necessarily cold, but cooler than average by a couple of degrees anyway. So the warming trend here as we get into spring is still somewhat sluggish, but we do have moments of it. Once we get into mid-May, late May, the precip pattern still looks favorable for those in the plains and the high plains, even the prairies of Canada, and we'll have more updates on that as we get closer. Until then, Matt Makens here.